Mom sent a message. We changed all the locks on the front door and also the gate code. We no longer trust you. That's the kind of sentence you don't forget, no matter how many years pass. It came through as a text, 8:14 a.m. sharp, like she'd been rehearsing it all night and finally decided it was time to perform. I just stared at it. Not because I didn't expect it, deep down I always knew something like this would come, but because it felt so corporate, so clean, like they were firing me from the family. And then, like the world paused just to let me process the insult, I typed my reply without flinching. Understood, very smart. But I think you overlooked one thing. I didn't wait for a response. I opened the banking app and canceled the $4,800 mortgage transfer I had still been paying every single month on their house. The one they gave to my sister. The one they said she deserved because she gave them grandkids and I only gave them disappointment. 2 days later, a new message came, this time from a different number. No emojis, no passive-aggressive ellipses, just a straight-up, all-caps subject line from a law office. We have a problem. Call immediately. I never did, because by the time that email landed, it was already over. But let me back up, because stories like this don't begin with betrayal, they begin with love. Or at least the performance of it. They begin with a kid who keeps saying yes because he thinks one day it'll count. One day they'll say thank you. One day he'll matter. That kid was me. For years, I paid bills. I fixed problems. I carried the weight. And they called it help until I stopped. That morning, the locks changed. But I'd already changed something much more important. Myself. To be honest, I didn't think I was helping. I thought I was saving. The family. The house. The balance. If someone had asked me back then, I'd have said, I'm just supporting. I can afford it. But it wasn't just anything. I'd been paying their mortgage for nearly 4 years. For $1,800 a month. Like clockwork. An automatic withdrawal straight from my account like some sacred family tax. Add to that the utilities, the property insurance, the internet bills, the emergency roof repair when a storm tore half the shingles off. All of it, my name, my credit, my money. They never even said thank you. My sister Lindsay, of course, always had some new crisis. Her credit card was maxed out. I paid it down. Her car needed brakes. Covered it. Daycare was too expensive. I sent cash just until she figured it out. 3 years later, she was still figuring it out. And somehow, I never said no. Not once. Because I thought this is what family does. Until I realized that was exactly what they were counting on. The first crack appeared on a Sunday afternoon. I was scrolling through Facebook while waiting for my grocery pickup, and I saw the photo. Lindsay, my parents, the kids, all standing in front of the house I was paying for, holding a sign that read, Home Sweet Home, a gift from Lindsay. The caption from my mother read, so proud of our daughter for building a future we can all share. This home is in the right hands. I had to reread it. Lindsay's house? The right hands? There was no mention of me. No tag. No photo credit. Not even a passing. We're grateful for Alex's support. Just them. Smiling. On a porch I paid for. The comment section was a circus of emojis. Hearts. Clapping. Wow, she's such a strong woman. You're lucky to have her. She's such a rock for your family. Even my aunt commented. Lindsay, you deserve every inch of that house. I wanted to throw my phone, but I didn't. I just stared at it. Like a bruise I wasn't ready to touch yet. A few days later, I called the bank to confirm something. Just to make sure the mortgage was still under my name. It was. But then the woman on the phone said, casually, looks like there was a request submitted last week to change the primary contact to a Ms. Lindsay Carson. My heart stopped. They didn't finish the verification, she added. But the documents are in progress. I ended the call without another word. Then I checked my statements and that's when I saw it. An extra $2,400 missing from my checking account. A transfer to a card I hadn't authorized. I knew that number. Lindsay's emergency visa. The one I once bailed out during her temporary unemployment 2 years ago. I texted her. Calmly. Me. Did you use my card again? Lindsay. Don't make it a thing, Alex. We needed groceries and the kids needed shoes. I thought we were still sharing that one. Me. No. We weren't. She didn't respond. But my mother did. Mom, honey, me. Lindsay is going through so much right now. She said she'd pay you back. Let's not start a war over a few dollars. Few dollars? $2,400 is a few dollars when it's me. But Lindsay misses a phone payment, and it's a crisis. Then came the group chat. They had changed the name to Family Circle even though I never renamed it. Someone had posted a man handing over his wallet with the caption, Big Brother Energy. Pay now. Ask never. My cousin replied, Tag Alex. Then another. Yo, can we get you to cover my student loans too? Even my dad jumped in with, only if you rename your kid after him. Gotta keep the donor happy. I stared at my screen. No one was defending me. Not even a joke to balance it out. I left the chat. They added me back. I left again. Then blocked them all. But none of it compared to what happened that Friday. I was mowing the backyard, the same yard I'd been maintaining for 3 summers because, in my father's words, it's not worth hiring anyone when you're around anyway. The mower sputtered, and I stopped for a water break. The kitchen window was open. That's when I heard them. My mother and Lindsay. Their voices were clear, sharp, effortless. Like this wasn't even the first time. Lindsay, laughing. Did you see his face when I told Aunt Karen the house was mine? He didn't even blink. Like a puppy just happy to sniff the plate. Mom giggling. It's almost done. Once the paperwork's through, he won't be able to say a thing. He's the one who insisted on keeping it in his name. That's on him. Then Lindsay again. Honestly, it's better this way. He's always been distant, like a guest with a wallet. And then the words that finally did it. Mom, he's not family anymore. He's just a sponsor. I didn't move. I stood there with the bottle in my hand, letting the water run down my fingers like blood. I felt it. The end of whatever illusion I'd been clinging to. Not family, just a sponsor. They didn't know I was listening. They didn't see me walk away. But that moment, that line, it broke something that had been cracking for years. And I swear to God, something new began to form in its place. Not anger, not grief, just resolve. They didn't expect me to show up. The invitation came in a stiff white envelope. Gold trim, embossed letters. Please join us to celebrate Elizabeth Carson's 60th birthday. No signature, just from your family. 60 guests. Big venue. Full catering. A slideshow. I was told. A legacy event. I didn't RSVP. I didn't call. I just circled the date in red. And I prepared. 3 days before the party, I printed a document. $211,723.84 total financial contributions, mortgage, utilities, repairs, insurance, each line item with a date, a purpose, and a copy of the bank transaction. I put it on a USB drive, along with the audio from the open window. He's not family anymore. He's just a sponsor. Screenshots from group chats calling me a wallet. Photos of receipts. The email where my sister submitted paperwork to have the house transferred entirely to her name. If the house was hers, then the debt was hers too. I texted my grandfather that morning. He didn't reply. I didn't need him to. The venue was exactly what I imagined. White linen tables. Giant, 6-deep balloons. A projector cycling baby pictures and beach vacations. Waiters in black ties. Cousins in cocktail dresses. And my mother in an emerald green gown, standing in front of a sign that said, "A house is not a home without family." I nearly laughed out loud. I arrived 10 minutes late on purpose. Heads turned when I walked in. Some smiled, some stiffened. Lindsay caught my eye, blinked twice, then forced a grin and turned back to the crowd. I didn't wave, didn't speak, just took a seat at the back. They didn't waste time. Lindsay gave a speech first, talked about sacrifice, love, true family, said something about how this year has brought us even closer. The screen behind her showed a photo of the house. The caption, "Built with love, passed down with purpose." No mention of me. Then came the toast. My mother took the mic, dabbed her eyes, looked around the room like a queen delivering her final blessing. "I'm proud of my daughter Lindsay. She's shown what legacy truly means. And I'm grateful that this home, our home, will stay in the right hands. Applause, smiles, until I stood up and walked slowly to the microphone. I wasn't going to say anything tonight, I began, calmly. But since we're talking about legacy, let's do the math. The projector flickered, and then the audio played. Mom's voice. He's not family anymore. He's just a sponsor. Lindsay's voice, like a puppy sniffing the plate. Gasps. A few people sat forward. One woman dropped her wine glass. I clicked again. The screen changed. Screenshot. Group chat. Tag Alex. Only if he renames his kid after the bank. Then the ledger. For $1,800 times 48 months. Repairs. Maintenance. Property tax. If this house now belongs to Lindsay, I said, then I'm here to present a bill. Not a favor. A debt. I held up the printed invoice. 211 pages. Stapled. Silence. Then, are you serious? Lindsay shouted. Dead serious. I replied, unless you want to call it theft. It was a gift. My mother snapped. Funny, I said, stepping closer. I didn't sign a gift certificate. I signed every check. My father stood up like he might lunge. I turned to him. Want to talk about the loan application you filled out using my name as a co-signer without telling me? Because I've got that too. He sat back down. That's when the door opened. And in walked my grandfather. He didn't say a word at first. Just walked straight to the front of the room. All 60 guests watched as he picked up the microphone, looked around, and spoke slowly. You raised a thief, he said, looking at my father. And a coward. You tried to bury his son in silence. But the thing about mud is, it doesn't hide footprints for long. He looked at me then. The trust is yours now, he said. The one your father tried to redirect. I changed it last week. Lindsay's name has been removed. Completely. Guests again. My mother's face cracked. Lindsay's knees buckled. She grabbed the back of a chair to steady herself. You want legacy? Grandpa said, looking straight at them. Earn it. The hard way. He dropped the mic literally and walked out. I placed the printed invoice on the gift table, next to a pile of boxed wine and family photo albums. You changed the locks, I said, loud enough for the back row to hear. I changed my future. I'm not your donor. I'm your debt collector. And then I walked out. Didn't stay for cake. Didn't shake hands. Didn't look back. The party was over. And so was the lie. The next morning, I woke up to 57 unread messages. The first was from my mother. You humiliated me. On my birthday, you made a mockery of your own blood. Then my father. I don't care what you think you're owed. You won't see a single cent. Then Lindsay, silent as always, posted a black screen on her Instagram story. Some wounds come from those who were supposed to heal you. The comments under her last photo were a parade of vague sympathy. You don't deserve this. Stay strong, mama. Family will destroy you faster than strangers. None of them knew she'd called me a wallet behind a closed window. None of them had seen the invoice, but someone else had. 2 days later, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered out of pure curiosity. Mr. Carson. The voice said, calm and crisp. My name is Daniel Moore. I'm an attorney representing your parents. I'd like to discuss a potential financial resolution. I didn't speak. They're not looking for a lawsuit, he continued. They want this to go away. Quietly. No press. No social media. In exchange, they're willing to offer a settlement. I leaned back in my chair. Let me guess, I said. Half the amount I'm owed, in exchange for silence. A reasonable amount, he said, given the informality of the arrangement. I almost laughed. Daniel, I said, I have every receipt, every deposit. I have audio of them mocking me. I have their voices on tape admitting what they did. I'm aware, he said stiffly. That's why we're calling. Then here's what we'll do, I said. Full repayment, every cent. Or I file a public claim and attach the audio as evidence. You've got 72 hours. He paused. Understood. I'll be in touch. Exactly 72 hours later, the wire hit. $211,723.84, labeled Reimbursement Settlement. No further liability acknowledged. It didn't come from my parents. Not even Lindsay. The sender was a private business account registered to someone I didn't recognize. Probably a loan shark or a panicked friend of my father's. That made it even better. I printed the transaction, filed the paperwork, saved it 6 different ways. I didn't reply, didn't thank them, didn't say a word. I wasn't there to make peace. I was there to be paid. A week later, I posted a video. Clean background. No anger. Just clarity. Some people say closure is about forgiveness. For me, closure came with a wire transfer. $211,723.84. The price of 4 years of silence, obedience, and financing someone else's fantasy. They call me family, then call me a sponsor. Now they can call me settled. I blurred the account numbers, but left the sum visible. This isn't about hate. This is about facts. And facts have receipts. The post went viral. Again, even bigger this time. Therapists shared it. Adult children of toxic parents stitched it. One guy demied me saying it inspired him to cancel his mom's car lease. I didn't respond. That same day, a voicemail came from my father. So that's it. You really think money fixes it? You think you won? You're not part of this family anymore. I deleted it without listening to the rest. They changed the locks. I changed the terms. Now I live in a small modern apartment with huge windows and absolute silence. No family group chat. No late-night requests for quick help. No guilt trips disguised as concern. People sometimes ask if it hurts, being done with them. It doesn't. Because the truth is, I'm not done. I'm free. And freedom costs exactly $211,723.84. People keep asking me if I feel lighter now. If cutting off my family brought peace or closure or whatever word people like to use when they mean, did it work? And the answer is simple. I don't feel lighter. I feel clearer. Because peace doesn't always come with weightlessness. Sometimes it comes with gravity. A grounded, steady knowing that you're finally standing on your own side. After everything, they vanished exactly as I expected. No calls. No letters. No "we miss you." Just silence. Not the kind that hurts, but the kind that confirms the truth. I was never a son to them. I was a service. And once I stopped functioning, I stopped maturing. 2 months later, I finally learned how to enjoy mornings. The way sunlight filters through clean windows. The sound of coffee dripping, not texts pinging. No group chats begging for favors. No, can you transfer something real quick? No passive-aggressive. Guess who hasn't called their mother lately? My phone is quiet. My hands are steady. And I've stopped waiting for anyone to ask how I'm doing unless they truly care about the answer. People who know just pieces of the story still ask. But they're your family. I nod. Sure. In the way that a cage is still a home. If you've never known anything else. But I've stepped outside. And the air out here doesn't ask me for proof of my usefulness. I don't tell the full story anymore unless someone's earned it. There's no thrill in retelling trauma. Only fatigue. So now, when people ask why I'm not close with my family, I just say, I stopped mistaking access for love. That usually shuts them up. I used to check my old accounts just to see if they tried to reach out. They didn't. Not once. No apology. No explanation. Not even a guilt trip disguised as concern. Just total silence. Like I was never there. Like $211,723.84 of my life had been an administrative error they corrected by erasing me. Fine. Let them pretend. Pretending is what they're best at. The worst part? They probably think I still care. That I'm out here stewing in anger. Waiting for an apology. Secretly hoping they'll change. I'm not. I've seen them for what they are. And when the mask slips that far, you don't wait for it to go back on. You walk away. You don't check the rear view. Forgiveness? No. That's a word people throw around like a blanket when they're cold with guilt and want your warmth without earning it. Forgiveness requires acknowledgement, responsibility, regret. They offered none of that. So I offer nothing back. My therapist once asked me, what would you say to them now, if they were in front of you? And I thought about it. I sat in that chair, breathing slowly, trying to imagine their faces. Those familiar masks built from years of denial and manipulation. And I said, nothing. I wouldn't say a single thing, because saying something implies they still have access. And they don't. There is no key anymore. No emergency contact. No bank account with shared permissions. No numbers saved, just in case. I deleted every trace of them from my life. Not out of spite, but out of necessity. Survival is quiet like that. It doesn't come with fireworks. It just comes with locked doors and clean slates. Sometimes I imagine they tell people I cut them off over money, that I was always distant, that I lost it. Sure, let them. Let them keep their versions, soft-edged and flattering. Where they're victims of the ungrateful child who dared to say no. They need the fiction. I have the facts. Facts don't beg. They don't whine. They don't tremble under scrutiny. Facts sit still. They wait. They endure. Just like I did. Now I live. Not in a fairy tale. Not in revenge. Just life. Real. Boring. Mine. I work. I rest. I laugh when it's funny. I eat when I'm hungry. Not when I'm begged to show up to some family dinner where I'll foot the bill and be forgotten anyway. I still remember what my mother said once years ago. If you ever left, we'd fall apart. And she was right. They did. But I didn't. I'm not broken. I'm not bitter. I'm not waiting. I'm just done. Not as a warning. Not as a statement. As a fact. Like a locked phone. Like a cleared inbox. Like a number that rings once and goes nowhere. No forwarding. No return. Just me. Whole. And free.